Man, Dark World and Marincess, the rogue kings out here, still continuing to do their thing. Don't be like the 30% of you that do not smash the ever-living crap out of that subscribe button. Smash it so you guys don't miss out. More content. We have the Nova Scotia regional breakdown for you today from Team Solemn Circus here. Sword Soul coming in as your highest represented deck for this event. I mean, Sword Soul, you will see pretty interesting metagame shifts out here, especially as some would say old reliable out here. Sword Soul is very much the incarnation of like the previous format here, where you can still take a old reliable engine and still find success with it out here. And I think that's a pretty big thing to consider, is as long as you can still get your mileage with this deck and still, you know, make the most out of your matchups, you should be in a pretty good position. Now, the interesting category of things for the rest of the deck, you have Branded Kashtira. You shouldn't be no stranger to seeing both of these decks, as they have been, you know, your standard metagame contenders out here for quite some time. And then our Sprite variant for this event was actually an Evil Twin variant. I'm actually very, very surprised to see that actually is doing a thing. Now, winning the event was actually Dragon Link. The Dragon Link list will be up at a much later date, post-YCS London, so that'll be something for you to consider and look forward to. They wanted to keep it quiet because of the upcoming YCS. Perfectly understandable, all things considered here. So, we also had Dark World. Dark World's bad, Robbie. Yeah, Dark World will never amount to anything. We're in a macrocosmo format, yeah, huh? And we've seen where that's gotten Dark World at this point. Dark World has close the gap on a lot of tops, and you know, once you kind of have an idea of what the deck does and how you want to play your matchups, it's very, very scary. And of course, we also had a Marincess list. Shannon Long's getting a run for their money out here in terms of, you know, other duelists starting to pick up this deck and actually start to find success with it. So I actually am liking what I'm seeing. All right, we're going to pass on over to these top deck lists. All right, second place here is Sword Soul, kind of showcasing that this deck can still do its thing. We're on double talents in the main deck, Book of Eclipses, and the power of the giant rock in the sky that cleans up monsters when your opponent commits too many summons. And yes, those are kaijus. As of late, kaijus have definitely made a more run back into the format here, especially when you have these really tricky Kashtira players that are ending on a Rise Heart pass, and a lot of people are like, you know, we can go ahead and out that with one giant sea turtle. We've also seen a huge inclusion of Anti-Spell Fragrance. Anti-Spell has turned into the card that has helped this deck really kind of step things over the edge, I would say. Anti-Spell definitely makes this deck a lot more powerful. Do keep in mind we're not playing the Ice Jade Synchro. I've seen a few people question, like, where's the Ice Jade Synchro, Robbie? Don't need it, alright? Like, it's still good, but, like, it doesn't do anything to really push this deck over the edge. Next Sword Soul variant. Oh boy, we're still doing Book of Eclipses in here. We are doing Thrust, so if we're feeling, you know, spicy, we can toggle into the talents. Post-side decking, if you really need to, you can have access to the evenly matched. This build is not playing Nibiru's, so that's one big thing to mention here. We're not even playing Kaijus. We just shoved our Nibiru's. They're not in the main. We just shoved them down here in the side, which is fine. And then, of course, you see the Solemn Judgments down here for the one-card action. As long as your Sword Soul package can kind of close down the game, and then, you know, your opponent have, like, the one card that would, like, kind of ruin your day. As long as you can kind of narrow down that field of vision in terms of control, you should be able to control this. Once again, no Ice Jade Synchro in either of these variants. Sword Soul really did prove here that it could dominate out this regional and kind of showcase, hey, you know, in terms of the power scaling of the format is kind of setting up here, we can still do our job. Next up here, wow, Marincess was top 4, huh? That's actually pretty incredible. Well, once again, I always pull out the your opponent doesn't know how to handle certain matchups of this deck. I do avidly believe that. That's why, like, an Argo Ocronaut getting some return ability and punishing the opponent is really good. Book of Eclipses for your defensive options. You have these. And do not underestimate the power of this card, this format. This card being one of the strongest hand traps actually in current era Yu-Gi-Oh! Really pressuring your opponent once again. I mean, getting the fact to get 2 bodies on the field when you full star combo, your opponent ashes your Signet Mining, for example, and you have the Gamma. you usually know you're going to be in a good position. So this is like the, oh, you're trying to do something that's going to be really scary. We can go ahead and do this. I mean, this build's playing 15 hand traps. Not going to have a problem. All right, technically you can count the waves as hand traps too for later purposes, but this deck's doing its job. Next up here, we have, whoa, this is like Evil Twin Sprite-ish. So we are doing Evil Twins in here, 5 of them. And then we have, you know, some Tribbled Sunny Snitch plays in here. That's it. And then you play your mini Sprite package. And then you rely on Runic cards here to get the job done. So this is Evil Twin Sprite Runic. Man, they really are getting innovative out here in terms of the variations. We are siding the sea turtles out here to control anything that the opponent might do that might be, you know, not fun for us. Side deck is very, very standard. I will say that once you can kind of get down to the nitty gritty with a lot of these variations and things, a lot of these control elements will get the job done. I also like we are playing the Dark Will No More in here. So you can set up, do anything you need to, use your Runic cards to clean up your opponent's field, and then just go ahead and establish through full Sprite combo / Evil Twin combo. Seems incredibly easy to me. Next up here we have our Danger Dark World deck. Now 41 cards, or excuse me, 40 cards. We are playing the Charge into the Dark World as one of. We are playing the one Archives with the 1 Ascension. We are doing 1 Thrust and Talents. This has been a pretty big norm here. 1 Zephyros the Elite for extension options. 1 Ceruli is fine. Double Bigfoot to answer certain specifics is fine. We are citing just 2 skill drains. Do keep in mind that, like, skill drain does net you some pretty big advantage, but in some matchups, drain is not good. Yeah, you have a lot of 2-ofs down here in your side deck. You can tell which cards that your opponent, or what they really want to be toggling in here. I mean, 2 Denkos, 2 Lavas, the 2 Radions, and the 2 skill drains look like they're going to be some major pull-ins for this duelist. So once again, I'm happy to see the Dark World is doing its thing. Shout out here to Felgrand being one of the best cards that this deck can actually make. You see a Felgrand touchdown, your opponent's going to be like, what year is this? Next up here, we have our Branded Despy deck. Wow, all the way down here in 7th place. That's actually kind of impressive. We are, in fact, playing Triple Saronir, so you can get the Lubellion online. No Magna Huts, no Juris Worms, no Baldrakes. We're just on the bare minimum package here. And it's just 1 Lubellion, so we're not even going too crazy with this. And there is the Mighty Dark Magician to allow us to make the Brick Red Eyes Dark Dragoon. That doesn't even really do much anymore. We have Super Polys for the full board breaking here. And then, of course, we have Triple Crossout Designator. Trust me, when the Crossout comes down and you're looking at your opponent, you're going, really, I have to deal with this today? It's good. You notice, no Expulsion. No shenanigans with the Gimmick Puppet. Didn't need them. All right, we're seeing these builds kind of start to deviate away from more of the norm at this point, where a lot of people feel that they need to have, you know, things like the Expulsion to take advantage of things. And our big 8th place list here was actually our Kashtira deck. Now, I do see down here, first thing that catches me off guard is we're actually playing Eradicator Epidemic Virus. You can actually tribute your Arise Heart here to go ahead and ping your opponent. This has not been something that I have seen as of late. I don't think most Kashtira players are really... I should really be worried about things. I guess if your opponent, like, sets your Arise Heart with, like, one of the Trap Tricks trap hole cards, you know, you can't flip it back face up and you're stuck with the brick, having the Eradicator can make that a little bit better. You have some very strong defensive options with the Book of Moons and the Forbidden Lances here, which is fine. Pot of Prosperities for your filtering options, along with the good old Goliath down here. And, of course, Droll Lockbird. That's kind of something you don't really see a lot. See that we are also siding the Kumamungus as well, and some evenly matches, Dark Rollers. I'm very glad to see the Dark Roller has rotated back into the format here as a card to really help things out. And I've said this in a couple of these others, but Dark Roller ramping up as a contender in the metagame has been very, very interesting, just to kind of see what people are really thinking about out here for your meta. So, what do you think about the breakdown for this event? Please leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. I am actually, at this stage, I love to see how this format has shaped up. There have been so many cool ideas that players are kind of bringing to the table here that you got to wonder what's going to stick and what's not going to. So yeah, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think, and I'll see your beautiful faces back here later today, guys. Peace out. patrons. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.